Hi again. I had planned to do this video a lot quicker than I did, but unfortunately I had a little run-in with a thing called, not a thing called love, but called COVID-19. And if you should see it coming your way, folks.
Duck, you sucker.
Yeah, or as the kids today say, swerve it. Anyway, a couple of days ago something occurred to me that Steven Spielberg and I have just a few things in common. And he was on Desert Island Discs here in England recently, and just about the first tune that he chose for his list of discs to take with him on his desert island was from a film that we both watched as young men. John Ford film, 1900 and black and white it was. And I can still watch it today, no trouble at all. It hasn't aged, it's held its oomph.
Get out of that shadow, dude.
To this day. That's the one. The man who shot Liberty Valance. Because Stephen and I also have something else in common, and that's a love of westerns. Yeah. And he goes on to say how his first film that he ever made was 5 minutes long, just 5 minutes. And it was a western. But to do it, he had to borrow his father's 8mm camera. That one. It's the Bolex Standard 8 film camera. And that's all I had in those days. And he also went on to tell how he had to borrow the money of his father to have the film developed. Very expensive. But this is the Bolex, this is the one he would have used, and it's quite simply, you open the gate there, you put your little spool of Standard 8 in there, can you see that? Connect it down through the film gate and into the spool at the bottom here. Close your door back up, and then, no electricity, you would have simply wound the camera up. And action, folks. 25 frames a second. Filming. That's what he had and that's what he used. Yeah, fascinating. Fascinating story. And something else, Steve and I. He's 2 years younger than me, did I say? Something else we had in common is we both walked down the Burbank Film Studios in California. He far more than I did because he lived there, and I spent a couple of hours as a visitor, of course. But fascinating it was to walk down there to see all the different sets, you know, and the film, different companies renting certain parts of the lot for their filming, and it's just fascinating. And there we go. It's just the little memories that come back to me, fascinating though it is. And there's also a picture. This book, by the way, is about John Ford. If ever you want a book on John Ford, that is the one to get, folks. And there's a picture in here that I'm going to show you in a second. I'll put it on to the end of this thing, and it's the whole set and cast of The Man Who Shot Liberty Valance, and they're having what is called an English tea break put on by John Ford, and they're all in this tiny room here. And he called it English because on the table is a packet of Jacob's biscuits, and you couldn't get more English than a packet of Jacob's biscuits. And they're all drinking tea out of cups and saucers, not mugs, cups and saucers. English tea break. I'll put it on the end of the video to show you. So there we go, that's my latest little video. Like I said, I was aiming to do it a lot quicker than turned out, but that's life. Yeah, that's life. So folks, catch you later. Keep up the good work with the westerns. Thank you. And this is the picture I was telling you about. It's they're having a tea break in what can only be described as a rather small room. John Ford has his back to us. That's the eye patch strap you can see around the back of his head. Going clockwise, Vera Miles, Jimmy Stewart, Andy Devine, Woody Strode, and right at the back there is Lee Marvin, and above his head is his hat that he uses in the film. Vera Allen, Edmund O'Brien, Strother Martin right up the corner there, and just to his left is Lee Van Cleef smoking a cigarette, Woody Nolan and John Wayne of course on the right there. So there's the main cast from the film The Man That Shot Liberty Valance. I hope you can see it clearly. It's the best I can do in the light I have. But what an iconic picture. Absolutely fascinating. See you folks.
This time, right between the